there, and welcome to my channel where we make gourmet tasting cakes out of a box mix. And today we will be making a Boston cream pie. And yes, I'll show you how to even make a custard out of a box mix. So stick around while we make something boxed, but better. The first thing we need to do, as always, is preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, we need 1 white box mix. What? The next thing we need is 3 tablespoons of the cooking vanilla pudding. That is the kind that you cook over the stove top, not the instant type. Once we have the dry ingredients in the bowl, we are going to add 1 stick of unsalted melted butter. The next ingredient is 1 cup of room temperature milk. We want it to be room temperature because we do not want it to solidify our melted butter. Before we add the eggs, we want to mix our batter. After we have mixed the first part of our batter, it is time to add the eggs. Now this is where you are going to want a pot on hand because we are going to use the egg yolks for the custard and the egg whites for the cake. We will need 4 eggs. I like this recipe because it is quick, easy, and very delicious. And now we mix the egg white into the batter for about 2 minutes. You want to mix your batter on about medium speed because we do want to incorporate some air into the batter. When we have mixed our batter, we are going to pour it into 2 9-inch cake pans. Be sure to grease and flour them really well so the cake does not stick. You'll notice this cake batter is much thicker than the last cake we did, and that is okay. This is exactly what we want it to look like. The reason why these are called Boston cream pies instead of cake is because they were originally made in pie tins instead of cake pans, and so the term cake and pie were used interchangeably. Smooth out your batter evenly, and now it is time to bake. And now it is time to make our custard. In the saucepan that you put the 4 egg yolks in, we are going to add the other half of that stovetop vanilla pudding. The next thing we will do is whisk this together until mostly incorporated. Next, we are going to want to add 1 cup of whole milk. We now want to put our stove on high heat and stir constantly. Once you see steam rising from your mixture, you want to reduce your heat to about medium and continue cooking until it is thickened. Make sure you are dragging your whisk across the bottom of the saucepan so that the bottom does not burn. You can see that it's starting to get a little bit thicker now. Once it has fully thickened, you want to remove it from the heat and continue to stir. Now we are going to add 1 tablespoon of butter and mix the 1 tablespoon of butter into your custard. After it fully melts, we are going to transfer it over to a bowl. Once you get your custard in the bowl, place some plastic wrap over it and press down so that it completely seals with the custard. This will keep from having a thick skin form on the top. And then we will chill it in our refrigerator. It has been 30 minutes and now the cakes are done. There are 2 ways to check to see if a cake is done. One is the poke test. Poke gently with your finger, and if it does not leave an indent of your finger, then it is done. Another is the toothpick test. Insert a toothpick, and when you pull it out, if the toothpick is completely clean, it is done. Once our cakes have cooled, it is time to fill them with custard. Now this cake is a little more delicate and fluffy, so we want to make sure to cut off any uneven humps to make sure the cake does not split when we turn it upside down on top of the other cake. They sell tools called levelers to help you to cut a cake evenly down the middle or to cut the top off. However, I am trying to use as little tools as possible and just use things that people have in their kitchen every day. So I'm going to eyeball it, and no, it's not going to be perfect, but that is okay. It doesn't have to be perfect to be delicious. You want to put a very generous amount of custard on your cake and save maybe about 2 tablespoons worth, and we can use that to put a little dollop in the middle of our cake to decorate at the end. Use your spatula or a spoon or a butter knife to push the custard out toward the edge. I would say it's good to stop just before you reach the very edge, because when you put the cake on top, it will squish some of the custard out, and that's going to give us a really nice look. So just let the gravity do the rest of the work for you. We are going to lay our cake on top, and now we are going to move on to the chocolate ganache. For our ganache, we are going to use semi-sweet chocolate, and for our decoration, we are going to use white chocolate. In one bowl, we are going to put 2 tablespoons of semi-sweet chocolate. That is about 1/8 of a cup. In the next bowl, we are going to do 1 tablespoon of white chocolate. We are going to add 1/3 cup of sweetened condensed milk to our semi-sweet chocolate chips. We are going to add 1/4 cup of sweetened condensed milk to the white chocolate. The final thing we need is 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract to our semi-sweet chocolate chips. After combining your condensed milk with your chocolate and white chocolate, we are going to microwave them in 10-second intervals and stir every 10 seconds until melted. After you have melted your white chocolate, pour it into a Ziploc bag and set it to the side and let it come to room temperature. Pour your ganache onto the cake directly in the middle and let gravity do the work to take it outside to the edges. Now you may have noticed that this is not the same ganache that I made in the bananas for brandy cake recipe. The reason why I did condensed milk instead of butter is that once butter cools, it will have a hardened shell effect. Chocolate ganache mixed with condensed milk will actually turn into more of a fudge instead of a hard shell, so after your cake cools, it'll be much easier to cut. Gently guide your ganache to the outside edges and try not to take it too far because, like I said, gravity will definitely give you some help in this case. I like to go around in a circle, almost like doing a lap around the track. Quite honestly, this is pretty much the only laps you'll be seeing me make. Perfect. And like I said, we will let gravity take care of the rest. You can already see that it's starting to drip a little on the sides. With our white chocolate, we are going to cut a small hole in the bag, and now we are going to zigzag it across the cake. Holding the bag again in between your thumb and your 4 fingers, we are going to just let gravity do the work and zigzag it back and forth across your cake. It does not have to look perfect. In fact, messy kind of makes it look a little more delicious. After you zigzag it, you're going to take your toothpick and drag it up and then go in between the rows and drag it down. Once you are done with your lovely striping pattern, place the cake in the refrigerator for a few minutes to let the chocolate ganache firm up a little. Take the leftover custard and put it in a plastic bag and cut off the tip. Now that we have let our ganache cool in the refrigerator for a few minutes, we are going to just place a nice little dollop of custard in the middle, sort of middle. Not gonna lie, my eyeballing skills aren't the best. And we are going to place 1 chocolate kiss in the middle. Boop. Beautiful. And there you have it, a delicious Boston cream pie. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun and I hope you did too. And I will see you next time on Boxed But Better with Jenna. The first thing we need to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The first thing we need to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Did I say Fahrenheit again? The first thing we need to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit.